Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Chris is Talking, and this is my weekly anime review for Mob Psycho 100, and this is episode 7, well, the review for episode 7, also known as slash called Exaltation I've Obtained Loss. And you can pretty much call this part 2 of RITSU's internal struggles and the crazy fuckeries that he's having inside his head, and his just his issues. It's literally RITSU is just fucked up, and it kind of continues on from last week's episode with RITSU being able to now see Dimple. What the hell, that's a really weird pause. It felt really long in my head. Hopefully it didn't feel too long in here. I'm not gonna edit because I can't be bothered. Well, no, I can't be bothered. I don't need to edit every single little bit, especially as it felt kind of natural. Anyways, let's just move on. So basically, yeah. So now RITSU can see Dimple, and that's what we saw at the end of the episode, and we kind of wonder where it's gonna go with it. How powerful is RITSU, and where's his relationship and friendship with Dimple going to go? Now, I'm gonna go to that in a second, because just like in the anime, it then cuts off. Boom, two people or delinquents from the other schools. Now, the delinquents from the other schools have all heard that there is a guy who beat Hanazawa, and Hanazawa, he had a nickname as well, but I don't know if they gave it, but they know that he was really powerful in Salt Middle School. Black Vinegar. Basically, their schools are all named after everything. Fucking hell. But basically, yeah, they just know that Hanazawa was really powerful, and somebody defeated him from what's his name, Mob School right now, which I think is Salt Middle School. From Salt Middle School. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Just leave a comment down below, just ranting, it's this school, it's that school. Honestly, it's not really that deep, as long as I get the information of what I'm talking about fairly correct. But yeah, so Hanazawa's been beaten, and the word around town is that there's somebody who's extremely powerful, nicknamed White Tea Poison, aka Mob. Now, they don't know how Mob beat Hanazawa, but what they do know is this guy is really strong, and they need to find him, and they all want to go against him. You know how delinquents are. You see it in almost any anime episode where the delinquents are really strong people. Once they hear there's a strong fighter, they will flock to the fucking light. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening in this episode, and they've all flocked over to Mob School to try and find him. And if you don't know what he looks like, they're just trying to find him. So it's a pretty shit plan, because they get involved with the wrong people. So yeah, anyways, yeah, so they try and find him, and then the episode continues back to RITSU and Dimple and what's been going on. Now, RITSU, like, his power wasn't too strong. Like, we see that once he picks up the spoon, he's not that OP or anything where he can do some crazy shit like Mob very, very naturally. I mean, he was stressing the fuck out, and Dimple was like, calm down, bruh. Like, bruh, calm down, bruh. So like, and then once RITSU went crazy, like, he was like, I can't do it. Looked down, all the spoons were bent. So it's like, okay, you just have no control. Something's going on inside your mind. You have a lock. You compare yourself too much to your brother. So Dimple sees that weakness, and remember, Dimple was a bad guy at first, and Dimple's very good at reading people's not reading people's minds, but understanding how they feel and what's going on with them, especially sadness and stuff, because that's what he focused on in his cult, which was the LOL cult. So I like how they subtly show Dimple's understanding with people and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. So just had a really unprofessional moment there where I looked at my phone, and you know when you look at your phone and you notice straight away that you got a message, and then you're like, god damn it, now I'm stuck. But yeah, anyways, back to the review. So so I really liked how they showed Dimple and his mindset, but because of that, he was able to realize, sorry, slight shakiness, he was able to realize that RITSU was quite weak inside, and he even offered RITSU, oh yeah, I can make you stronger if you let me take over your body. And at first I was thinking, nah, RITSU ain't that dumb. RITSU's not gonna, suddenly, yeah, like, RITSU's been taken over, and it wasn't even such a very powerful takeover where like RITSU was super strong. All that happened was that it was like his cheeks went red. So like, Dimple was in his mind, but he can't take over his body. It just means that some of his Esper ability is inside RITSU. So that's pretty interesting. So RITSU still got control of himself, but so we think, but Dimple can't take over his mind. Kind of like Parasite the Maxim, if you've seen that. No spoilers, but you kind of get what I mean. Something a bit like that. So that was pretty interesting. Now, with RITSU's newfound power, he goes and tries it out. He goes to the school, and then he just decides, all right, let me see what's going on. And then we get reintroduced to Shinji, the guy, the fucking the student president guy, whoever he is, the one who's trying to frame all these delinquents and stuff, and like what he's up to and his shenanigans. And Dimple says to Ritsu, look, for the power to work out, you need to do some mischievous kind of stuff, like make your, I know, because obviously like Dimple's evil, so maybe by doing evil deeds then Dimple will get stronger, and thus meaning that he can take over Ritsu's body by making Ritsu stronger, but Ritsu will notice because he's just getting stronger. But as it's going on, we don't really see Dimple taking over Ritsu's mind, but we do see that Ritsu's mind ends up getting, he gets really like drunk in power. And like this is very, I don't know, I like it personally because we then get to see how this works against certain other characters like Hanazawa from like that epic fight scene, and what will Ritsu do when he comes across stronger espers. You know what happens? He comes across stronger espers. He's in the high street, and then these thug bullies, whoever from other schools and whatnot, they come up to him and they kind of confront him, and Ritsu basically takes him out quite simply, quite easily as well. And then what's it called again? Hanazawa's like, look, just calm down, I used to be just like you. And you can see Hanazawa's actually become a nice person. It's like, oh cool, you've actually got a really good personality. Your ass got handed to you so bad that you did a full 180, and you yeah, Hanazawa is hilarious now, so he's proper cool. I like the kind of character he's become now. But even though that's happened to him, I like how he's still really powerful. Dimple can still sense that Hanazawa is extremely powerful, and when Ritsu notices that Hanazawa can like sense his Esper abilities and he tries to confront him, he puts his hand out to start his whole Esper ability attack kind of thing, and Hanazawa does his teleportation technique, appears right in front of him, grabs his hand and just sends down a gravitational push like a Shinra Tensei down on Ritsu, and Ritsu can't move for shit. Dimple's like, dude, we need to go. All whilst that's happening, we also get introduced to Hanazawa's new hairstyle, kind of like my hairstyle, but just all the way up. Kind of reminded me a bit of the black guy from Hey Arnold. Like literally that, but blonde. And then like he's wearing it with pride almost. It's obviously he doesn't want to show the bald part of his head, but you'd think he'd be really embarrassed by having that, considering how cool he's used to being. But hey, I think, you know, at least he can try to play off a hairstyle that he's got a big brain, like just like Ritsu thought. Maybe the reason why this guy's more powerful is because he has a huge developed brain kind of thing. I was like, no, his ass got handed to him. And Nimple even kind of mentions that to him as well. So yeah, so we get to see Hanazawa's still OP, he's still on the scene, he's got a new hairstyle, and he's a good guy now. So I'm really liking that. Quite a lot of world building with the different schools, character development with Ritsu, with Dimple, with Hanazawa, with Shinji as well. We get to see like what happens with him. Like his plans end up backfiring because he keeps on trying to frame all the delinquents in the school by making them out to be perverts, and Ritsu's helping him, but by helping him he's becoming more evil, thus making his powers more powerful. And he's like, it's all going really AWOL, and you know things are gonna go wrong for Ritsu by the end of this episode whilst you're watching it / the next episode. It's kind of like, where is this kind of going? It almost gets to the point where Shinji ends up being confronted by gang leaders, the delinquents from other schools again, but this time he ends up getting his ass handed to him because they know that he was there and he was connected to the whole like what's it called again, the white poison tea thing. And he's like, what the hell, what am I supposed to say? You can't really say the right thing, these are delinquents, they don't give a fuck, they're just gonna beat you up. What happens? He gets taken out. He ends up running to Ritsu, telling him, look, it's all going wrong, like these delinquents are now coming after me, this that. And Ritsu's like, yeah, you deserved it, dude, you deserved it, so I'm not gonna say sorry, I'm gonna just keep doing this. So like, yeah, like Ritsu even ended up going to Shinji's house, climbed through his window to try and like tell him, look, like this is what's happening, like I am really powerful and all that. And I was like, where is this going? Oh, before I end the review, bloody hell, like it wasn't only the episode of Ritsu. we get a little bit of Mob. Yay. We did get, I mean, obviously it's Mob Psycho 100, so we know we're going to get Mob. But I didn't actually mind the fact that we didn't see Mob in this, because we did get a lot of like characterization with loads of other characters, but we got to see a bit of Mob. He's walking down the high street, and then this lady just calls him out, and she's like, hey kid, come here. And then obviously Mob's like, with his bland ass face, goes with the lady, and it's like in some small room. The lady's like, oh, check out this vase, look how expensive it is, blah blah. She nudges Mob into the vase so that she can break it. What happens? Mob saves it with his esper abilities and ends up like just levitating it, and she's like, what the hell? And ends up putting it back. She nudges him, so nudges the vase so it cracks. Suddenly out of nowhere, she's like, how are you gonna pay for it, huh? How are you gonna pay for it? And sorry, missed the part. She was trying to sell it to Mob. Mob was like, I can't buy it. She tries to knock down the price. I can't buy it. Tries to say, would your parents like to buy it? She's like, she can't buy it. And that's why she ends up resulting to trying to break it and trying to make him break it and trying to pin the blame on him. And he's too nice and caring to even try to say, no, you tried to break it. Thus her making him break the vase. Starts pinning the blame on him. Suddenly out of nowhere, a new guy appears out of nowhere, and he's like, oh, so you don't want to pay for it, huh? And he's like, oh, you got a phone on you? He didn't sound like this, so I don't even know why I'm speaking like this. Phone rings just when Mob says no. And it was Reigan. Reigan's like, oh, okay, cool. Reigan turns up and he's like, all right, what's going on here? And then the two con artists, we find out the con artists are like, oh, are you the guardian of this kid? This kid just broke this expensive vase. Reigan's like, what, that cheap looking thing there? All right, cool. And then the guy goes, oh, what, so you're going to pay for it? Reigan's like, no. Guy ends up holding up Reigan, and then Reigan's like, oh my God, you actually injured my collarbone or cervix, whatever he said. That's going to be 1,000,000 yen. Then it's like, your breath stinks. That's going to be 1,000,000 yen. Reigan is really, really, really good. Like his personality really it's the balance with him and Mob. Like he's nothing like Mob, Mob's nothing like him, so they really bounce off of each other. Now even if the series was just going to be them two, kind of like Saitama and Genos, I would have really enjoyed it, but I do like that we're getting such character development and world building within the Mob Psycho 100 world, especially how at the very end we get to see a guy with a hood a guy with a hood who seems very mysterious, powerful, and may have been the same person that Mob sensed and was actually quite afraid of when he was with the who was he with? He was with the club, with the telekinetic club, with the girl from telekinetic club, trying to find other espers, and then he ended up sensing him, but we never saw his face or his or her face, and we still don't get to see his or her face even in this episode, because the person's got a hood on the whole time. So I was like, okay, shit. So yeah, lastly at the very end we then get to see that RITSU's now in a corridor, hallway, alleyway, wherever the fuck it is, and he ends up being surrounded by a whole bunch of gang members again. He ends up having his own mini fight scene, pretty cool. Dimple takes over him. He's like, Dimple, I'm gonna go a bit strong here. Has a slight fight scene. Hanazawa's in the background watching, like, oh, they think that you're Mob. Well, they think that you're Kage out, whatever. They think that you're Mob. So then he's like, all right, cool. Let me just find out from Mob what's kind of going on. And he kind of goes off. He ducks and ends up snitching to Mob that, look, your brother's pretending to be you. You need to kind of get here. It could go wrong, whatnot. And then the episode ends with Mob like, brother, like, what's going on here? And whilst all that's happening, the fucking dangerous guy, like the other Esper, he's up far away watching the whole situation, and we don't actually know what's gonna go on. What we do know is that by the previews of the next episode, so spoilers, go, it turns out to be that Mob may actually end up losing his fight, because we see that Mob puts his guard up and the guy or girl ends up punching Mob straight through the barrier and knocking him back, and we actually see Mob go on his knees and apologize. So maybe Mob's apologizing because he realizes, shit, we need to get the fuck out of here, and he knows that this guy's strong. Or maybe Mob doesn't want to go to 100 because he's too worried about what will happen to him if he tries to take things too far. But that being said, this guy broke through his barrier. No one's done that. I mean, literally no one. Hanazawa went fucking ham and that didn't happen. So I'm extremely excited for next week's episode. What do you guys think is going to happen? Who's your money on? Do you think that do you also think that Mob and RITSU are going to have a fight? What will happen? Do you think Mob's going to notice that those are Dimple's teeth marks on RITSU, like, and do you think Hanazawa's going to jump in and maybe save the day a little bit, or maybe try to, like, I don't know, it's just so much, like, there's so many espers now. We have way more espers than we did at the beginning of the episode, where we just had mob and all that. So I'm pretty excited. Are you guys excited? Please let me know what your thoughts are, and whether you like this review or not. And yeah, I swear I'm not in my normal setup. I'm just trying to be really comfortable, and it's, yeah, like, I'm not even going to try and lie and make excuses. I just want to get comfortable, so I'm in bed. So I thought I'd just do that with my microphone and all that. But hope you guys enjoyed this review. Do subscribe, as I'm posting up videos extremely regularly. But yeah, have a great time, guys. Take care, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.